Charean, it's time for Can't Wait to See Week 3 edition. You lead us off.
Well, I think it's Mike McCarthy being second guess. What's he going to be second guess for this week? It's been 2 weeks in a row, his first 2 games with the Cowboys. First week, he bypasses a field goal late that would have tied the game. And then last week, they had the 2 fake punts that didn't work. And then the 2-point conversion that you and I agree shouldn't have happened, but it happened anyway. And he told a long story yesterday and really tried to defend himself. And he called it convenient criticism of his decisions. Cowboys fans wanted Jason Garrett to be more aggressive. I think they want Mike McCarthy to be less aggressive. But he said he's not a gambler, but he's going to continue to take chances.
I don't have a problem with taking chances as long as they're calculated and as long as they make sense. It makes sense because if you don't get it, you're behind by 2 possessions and you give the other team an important psychological edge. And even if you could make the argument that the analytics requires it, or at least if it's closer, it's 51-49, that's a result of doing it over and over and over again. Football coaches don't have the benefit, the luxury of doing it over and over again when the goofy, unconventional thing blows up in their faces. You only have so many times you can get away with it before you're gone. I'm looking forward to seeing Josh Allen trying to run over Aaron Donald if he has that opportunity. He won't shy away from it, but of all the guys that Josh Allen has collided with in his lifetime, I think he'll realize it's a little bit different when you collide with Aaron Donald. So for Josh Allen's own safety, I hope he avoids Aaron Donald. But if it's meant to be, I can't wait to see it happen.
I also can't wait to see Josh Allen against Jalen Ramsey. We remember Ramsey's critical comments of Josh Allen, and now the 2 face off again. And I think Jalen Ramsey's he was supposed to talk to the media today, but I'm guessing that his opinion of Josh Allen has changed since Josh Allen has actually been a really good quarterback so far in the NFL. My second thing, Mike, is I'm looking forward to seeing J.J. Watt and T.J. Watt going off against each other. I realize they both play defense, so they're not going to be on the field at the same time, but J.J. Watt will be on the field with his other brother, Derek. It'll only be the second time in NFL history that we've seen 3 brothers on the field at the same time. Of course, the Edmonds brothers did it last year, Pittsburgh and Buffalo. So the Watt brothers will go at it. I said the other day that I don't think J.J. Watt's one of the top pass rushers in the NFL anymore. People can argue that. I don't think you can argue that he's the second best Watt pass rusher in the family.
I had a vision there while you were talking about TJ and JJ not being on the field at the same time of the Steelers designing a package where all 3 Watts can be on the field at the same time, where TJ awesome. Comes in as a blocking tight end, get him in the general vicinity of JJ, and let Derek and TJ go after JJ. Look, hey, a guy can dream. It's probably not going to happen, but that would be awesome if they find a way to get all 3 on the field at the same time. All right, I'm looking to Tom Brady saying farewell for good to Denver, and I'm sure he's looking forward, Charean, to saying farewell for good to Denver. He is 8-9 playing at Mile High Stadium in his career. This will be his 18th, and unless he ends up playing for a different team or somehow spends 8 seasons total or 8 more seasons with the Buccaneers, he won't be back in Denver. This is it, and this is his chance to get to 500. And the good news is this is probably the worst Broncos team he's ever faced when he's gone to Denver, so maybe he's likely to get out of there at 9-9. But for as great as he is, it's amazing that he has a sub-500 record at Mile High Stadium.
And I think it's the only team he has a losing record against, right? I think that's the only team that he doesn't have a winning record against, which tells you how great he's been. I'm looking forward to Justin Herbert, a second dose of Justin Herbert, and we're going to get to see him against the Panthers. Of course, Tyrod Taylor is still out, but he just looks so good in his first debut. Didn't know he was going to play, goes out and throws for 311 yards against the defending Super Bowl champions, a touchdown, ran for a touchdown, made that one rookie mistake when he runs left, throws back right. But he was really, really good in his debut, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he does with a week of preparation, a week of snaps, and, of course, they have a little bit of film to look at that he played in since they have no preseason film.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how he does this week and whether he does so well that Tyrod Taylor, even when he's healthy, won't be back. And it'll be the same thing that happened to Tyrod Taylor a couple of years ago when he was benched after an injury for Baker Mayfield. Frankly, Justin Herbert, far more spectacular and dynamic than Baker Mayfield ever was as a rookie, based on what we saw in that first game. Last one I'm looking forward to. Will Drew Brees try to do too much now that he is keenly aware of the criticism? We talked earlier in the week that even though players and coaches say they don't listen to the outside noise, Brees was aware that people were talking about yards per attempt and the air yards and the other little criticisms of his inability to get the ball down the field. Will we see him come out and try to uncork a deep ball and maybe underthrow a deep ball and get it picked off by one of the Packers' defensive backs? It's going to be a huge game on Sunday night with real playoff implications to the extent that the Saints and Packers will end up jockeying for position at the top of the conference, maybe a bye week, maybe a home game, maybe a better seed for the divisional round so you don't have to go on the road if you're the 2 seed versus the 3 seed. But I think that Drew Brees was probably stung by some of the reaction to what happened on Monday night because he still had a solid game statistically. And I want to see, will there be that conscious effort? Will he seem like a guy who is determined to shut up the people who may be raising questions about what remaining shelf life he has, Charean?
Didn't he come out in that playoff game, if I remember correctly, and he had a long throw early in the game and it was picked off? He vastly underthrew the ball, and you said he just doesn't have the arm strength anymore. Am I remembering that correctly?
You are. That's the 2018 divisional round game. They had 2 weeks to get ready for it. This was the play. This was the play they picked for the first play from scrimmage, and he couldn't get the ball deep enough. Crevon LeBlanc, I think, is the one who picked off the pass, and that's what fueled the initial burst by the Eagles that put them in position to potentially steal the game, and they almost did steal that game against the New Orleans Saints in the 2018 postseason. So, it's going to be fun to see what happens on Sunday night and to really get a feel for what's going on in that organization, because it's clear he can't throw it deep, and maybe it's going to be clear that he's going to be determined to try to do it. All right,